The Yuletide season evokes thoughts and memories of glorious days of frost, ringing bells, and the magical aromas wafting from a warm, loving kitchen. And yet, the days are shorter, and the nights become long, dark, and cold journeys into a bizarre winter realm of menace, monsters, and wandering spirits. Blackwater Media presents A Creepy Christmas. I'm 18 years old and just started my freshman year at Florida State. But my paranormal incident occurred at my parents' house this past Christmas. I decided to stay in a school dorm simply to get away from that damn house. My parents and I, and by the way, I'm the youngest of 4 kids and the only one still living at home. Well, we moved into a plantation-style house in Mobile, Alabama about 2 years ago. The house itself is enormous. It used to sit on a fairly large plot of land before being developed into condos a small distance away. Also, there used to be a barn and a guest house on the property, but they're long gone. I always had an uneasy feeling living there. And to contribute to that feeling of weirdness, all the rooms in the house were large, open, and had high ceilings. And one night, something pretty damn scary happened. It was about 10 o'clock, and I was home alone. I was lounging on one of the big leather couches, flipping through the channels on the TV while occasionally dozing off. There were 2 lamps on in the room, one directly behind me and one across the room beside the smaller couch. As I lay there with my eyes trained on the TV, I noticed something shift in the corner of my vision. I'd assumed it was a fly and didn't look right away, until it moved again. So I turned my head to the left and watched in amazement at some sort of shadow that seemed to have long, curled fingers, which reminded me a lot of one of the amoebas that I'd learned about in biology class. Well, those fingers stretched from beneath the lamp, over the side of the couch, and onto the floor in front of me. As the shadow moved, it grew in mass, yet there was nothing in the room that could cast such a shadow. The fat finger splayed across the floor and crept closer and closer to where I was sitting. There was no sound except the background noise of the TV, and absolutely no object that could create such a shadow. I rubbed my eyes, thinking maybe I was just tired and seeing things, but the shadow was still there when I opened my eyes, and it was closer. Curiosity was rapidly turning into fear as the thing grew even larger and practically covered the entire goddamn floor. I knew I had to act quickly before I let whatever this thing was touch me. So I jumped from the couch and zipped across the room to a carpeted patch that didn't have the shadow on it. And it even sounds bizarre as I'm saying this, but it's true. I ran down the hall, up the stairs, and to my room where I stayed the rest of the damn night. No big massive shadows crept into my room that night, at least not while I was awake. The next day, I told my mom about it. And she didn't look at me like I was crazy. She had a strange expression on her face, almost like she was remembering something, and she nodded her head as I recounted my story, which leads me to believe something happened to her. I wish she'd tell me what it was. Anyway, that's my story. And as we go through this Yuletide season, I wish each and every one of you a creepy Christmas.